if there's anything that you really want, but honestly have not been doing anything about it, this video is for you. I remember I was the first one in my class who had decided what he wanted to become in his life. But did I do anything about it? Did I take any action for it? I can't think of a single instance when I took even one step towards pursuing this goal. I was fortunate enough to have written down in exact words the one thought that I had that changed the entire rest of my life. And in this video, I share with you the circumstances leading up to that thought and that thought itself. It has life-changing potential. I tell you that from experience. The single most disgusting quality possible in a man is passivity. Passivity is defined as the state of being passive in one's life. Now, what exactly do I mean by being passive in your life? I'm going to talk about my experiences with it. I'm going to talk about how I was passive for most of my life. I'm going to talk about the one incident that changed it all for me, which, by the way, is the most vulnerable incident I've talked about up to this point. And I'm going to talk about the one thought that I had that made something click in my brain and turned my entire life around. We're going to talk about all of it, but let's begin by trying to define what we mean by being passive in life. In my opinion, passivity is almost a state of indifference. Indifference is when you don't care about how something turns out, right? So passivity is indifference towards the outcomes of your life. An important point over here is that your caring or not caring about something is not determined by your thinking about it. It's determined by your actions. Let me give you a small example to prove my point. Somebody lying on his bed all day, scrolling through Instagram, wishing that he was in the NBA, does not actually care about being in the NBA. Let me give you another example to further solidify the concept. In previous videos, I've talked about how I always wanted to become a doctor. Ever since I can remember, since like the first grade. I remember I was the first one in my class who had decided what he wanted to become in his life. But did I do anything about it? Did I take any action for it? I can't think of a single instance when I took even one step towards pursuing this goal. Now this is textbook passivity. This is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. A simple way to find out if you are passive with your life is to answer this one question. Is there anything that you're currently trying to achieve? It can be anything. It doesn't have to be academics or landing a job. It can be about a girl. It can be about building your dream body. Anything. But you need to be doing something about it. You can't just be sitting there and wishing that you get it or hoping that you get it. You need to be doing something. You need to be taking steps towards achieving that goal. And if there's anything that you really want, but honestly have not been doing anything about it, this video is for you. Let's begin with the incident that changed it all for me. It's kind of symbolic to start there because in many ways that was the one thing that got me started on this journey. Not that I made any progress at that point, not that I changed anything about myself then, but that was the point when something clicked in my brain and gave me the right mindset. Before we begin, let me just say that I was fortunate enough to have written down in exact words the one thought that I had that changed the entire rest of my life. This was the first step in the transformation from the younger Sahaj that you've all heard so many stories of and who I am today. And in this video, I share with you the circumstances leading up to that thought and that thought itself. Now, this happens frequently with authors, specifically with philosophical books that they write, that on those pages they write the exact thoughts that changed their entire lives, that transformed their lives. But most of the people who read those books get done with them without deriving any value from them. I sincerely hope that firstly, I am able to deliver my message effectively, and secondly, that you give some time to it, that you don't forget about this video as soon as you're done with it, that you meditate on the thought for a little while. It has life-changing potential. I tell you that from experience. Let's begin now. Okay, so I'm back in college and we were just a few months away from the end of second year. By the way, this is just about the time COVID was about to hit. I'd been hanging out with this girl for the past couple of months or so, and I'd fallen absolutely, crazily, madly in love with her. And coming to the point of this video, I didn't do anything about it. I didn't ask her out. Why did I not ask her out? That's a brilliant question, but as always, I'm gonna have to throw that one to younger Sahaj. Yo, I think we've established by now that there was something seriously wrong with younger Sahaj. Okay, so see, up to this point, I had never asked a girl out. Not a single time. All the relationships that I'd been in up to this point, the girl was the one who asked me out. I cannot put into words, I cannot describe how disgusting that makes me feel now, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what beliefs, what convictions younger Sahaj had. He believed that if she liked him, why could she not be the one to do it? I kind of knew that she liked me back too, and because I'd kind of gotten used to not having to put myself in that position, I'd gotten used to not going out on a limb and, and taking that risk. So I kept waiting for her to do it. And here's the thing, she mentioned to me a couple of times in conversation that no matter how much she liked the guy, she didn't feel comfortable doing it, so she would never, she would never ask a guy out. But younger Sahaj was a cocky one, dude. I remember hearing her say that and thinking, we'll see about that. And then out of nowhere, COVID hit. We were all sent home. Thankfully, I had some time to think at home. I realized, firstly, that she wasn't going to do it. I had waited a month for her to do it. She wasn't going to do it. And secondly, that she was starting to lose interest. Yo, I was in love, dude. I wasn't ready to give up. I wasn't willing to give up. I decided that I was going to do it. I decided that I was going to ask her out. I made an entire plan. I decided when I was going to do it, how I was going to do it. Yo, I started working out again after like a year waiting for college to open. I read my first book on pickup, which was the first book I read in, I don't even remember how long. I was gonna go in ready, dude. I was gonna go in prepared. And then college never opened. Fuck, dude. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, dude. That hurt, dude. That fucking killed me at the time. But at the time they just kept delaying. They just told us that college would open in a month or two, and then when the time came again. So at some point I realized that college was probably never going to open again. I realized that we were all probably going to graduate from home and we would never see each other again. This was the day that changed the entire rest of my life. It was probably the longest conversation I've ever had with myself. I remember I sat right here on the corner of this bed and just fucking talked to myself, dude. I said to myself, Sahaj, this was something that you should have gotten, that you would have gotten. I don't know if I was delusional. I don't want to know, but at the time I was about 95% sure that if I'd asked her out, she would have said yes. So I said to myself, Sahaj, this is something that you should have gotten, that you would have gotten. The only thing you needed to do was to take some action, to literally just reach out your hand, to take a step in the right direction, and you would have gotten it. For the next hour, more than an hour, I sat there and revisited every memory that I could think of when I had wanted something and I didn't get it. Because I wouldn't do anything for it. I never set ambitious goals for myself because I guess I never believed in myself. They were always little small things that I just needed to do a little work and I would have gotten. I went all the way back to like 5th grade when I wanted to join the football team. My thought pattern remained the exact same all my life. All the way back from 5th grade, I just thought, I would really like it if I was in the football team. It would be really nice if I was in the football team. I hope I get into the football team. What are you going to do about it, man? Do we have any plan? Are we going to do anything about it? Is there an in-between step? Nothing. It was the exact same for choosing a profession when I wanted to become a doctor. It would be nice if I was a doctor. I hope I become a doctor. Come on, man. For all of my relationships, I really like her. It would be really nice if she was my girlfriend. I hope she becomes my girlfriend. Dumb fuck, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to make that come true? For fuck's sake, man. So this thought that changed my entire life, that made something click in my brain, it was kind of a 2-part thought. The first was a realization that all my life, that I could literally think back to over 20-30 things in my life that I wanted, that I, with minimal amount of effort, would have gotten. That so let's say I deserved to get these things, but because I wasn't willing to take the step, but because I wasn't willing to put in any work for it, I didn't get them. The second part of this thought was, I want to start putting in the work. I want to take action. I want to start putting in my 100%. Not just for the things that I deserve, not just for the things that I'll easily get, but also for the things that I couldn't imagine getting in my wildest dreams. That were damn near impossible for me to get. It was just a few days after this night that I decided to give the GMAT. On the day I decided to give the GMAT, this was the first time in my life that I decided to excel at something. I didn't give myself the option. I didn't think it would be nice if I excelled at it. I wish I excelled at it. And no, dude. For the first time in my life, I broke out of this thought pattern. I said, I am going to excel at it. So this was my realization. For the first time in my life, I zoomed out and I saw my entire life. I saw that all my life I had things lying just around me, and these are all the things around me that I deserve to get. Let's just say that I easily would have gotten with a little amount of effort, little bit of effort, and I just wasn't willing to to just close my hands on them, to just to close my fists on them, to just take them. And I decided that I was going to start scoping for things that I wanted, no matter how out of the league they were for me, and just fucking pulling on them, dude. Throwing, I don't know what, but throwing a grapple at them and just pulling them through, fucking getting them, dude. I wanted, I hate saying this because of how mainstream this is, but it describes the feeling perfectly. For the first time in your life, when you start doing this, you start feeling like the main character of your life. You start feeling like you are an active participant of your life. So this was the first time I realized that I was being passive in life, right? Because when you are, if you're sad all the time, you don't realize how sad you are. Once you've become happy, you realize, oh fuck, dude, I was really depressed back then. So similarly, when I was passive, I didn't realize that I was being like this. It was the normal for me. But now I realize that, take the example of this channel, dude. This, for the first time I had the thought of starting a YouTube channel, even when I tried to, I couldn't have ever imagined, not let alone success, dude, not just success. I couldn't have imagined sitting here and doing this every day. And, sitting here recording videos, talking about the thoughts that I have. Who the fuck would want to listen to the shit that I'm talking about? But here I am, because I decided it doesn't fucking matter if I deserve to get it, if it is something that was destined, if it was something that I should have gotten. I am going to decide what I want, and I'm going to fucking get it, no matter how out of my league it is. This was my realization. This feeling, doing this of setting goals that you think are way beyond your league and pulling on them, bro, this feeling is so addictive. This is why I talk so frequently. I've made so many videos on finding a purpose and setting goals and achieving them, because, man, you do not understand what it means to be the main character of your life if you've not experienced that. Because when you're doing this, the feeling of being in control of your life, the feeling that your life is completely 100% in your hands. What becomes of your life is your responsibility. So it's your duty, your obligation to, I said this before, to set goals that give you goosebumps, and then devote your entire life to making those dreams a reality, dude. There's nothing more fulfilling than that. No Netflix, no Instagram Reels, no YouTube Shorts, no drug is going to give you the high that you get from doing this. In closing, I leave you with an actionable step. Think back to everything in your life you've ever wanted. You've probably not set goals or purposes for yourself, but things that you just thought it would be nice if I had this. And then ask yourself, how many of them did you give a fair shot to? How many of them did you put in the work to get? Yo, drop your boy a like, a comment, and a subscribe for the vulnerability. It means a lot, it really does. And as always, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you around.